Well, hello, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. It's actually a pretty nice day. Still a little bit chilly. It's about 58 degrees, a little cooler, but it's springtime. Plants are coming out. The trees are getting green. I love the springtime, and I love the fall. Not so much about the summer. I don't like the heat, but I can work in it. I just don't want to sleep in it. I was at Nothing But Cake because my mom has gotten hooked on Nothing But Cakes, and she loves the carrot cake ones and the red velvet, so I got her some bumpkins and things, and I thought they always had those things ready to go. But I guess because it's Sunday, I had to wait for them to top it. So while I was in there, I was seeing an article online about Charlotte Jones is maybe or maybe not. It was a rumor that Charlotte Jones was part of an investment group that's looking to invest in flag football. And we know that flag football is going to become an Olympic event. We've got, some NFL players, including Micah Parsons, that say, we want to be part of flag football. Now, quite frankly, if we have NFL players in Olympic flag football, the world ain't got a chance. It literally will not have a chance if that's going to be the case. Be that as it may, here's where it's kind of funny and interesting is the NFL, they know how to continue to make money. So here's the thing. We always keep hearing how the salary cap is going to flatten. They told us that don't expect the salary cap to grow this past year because football is waning. You remember back years ago, there was the concussion movie with Will Smith, right? And, it was the whole thing about concussions and the NFL, that we're not going to have, parents aren't letting their kids play football anymore, and that football was dying out. Now, that was about 10 years ago. You remember that, right? And, that kind of made sense that people are realizing the dangers of football. And, we don't want to have Johnny playing football and having brain damage. But the NFL is so smart. So first thing they did, they went through. They ended up doing the concussion protocol, and they ended up doing stuff for brain injuries and everything else, where they would start, paying for health care and, doing evaluations, although the NFL is shady because what they did is with the cognitive decline, what they did with black players, which are about 70% of the league, they basically said that your beginning point was lower than the white players. And if you don't, I'm not trying to be racial or anything else, but look it up if you don't believe me. And it ended up being, they're saying, well, basically you were already stupid to begin with, so there was no decline, and they were declining players. But be that as it may, I'm not trying to throw shade on the NFL or anything like that, but nobody wants to pay for anything. And if you've been with healthcare, I know for my knee, it's like I know that the grease injections work on my knee, and when I get it, 3 shots, I'm done. I'm good for another year and a half. The insurance company always denies it. We got to literally reapply like 3 times before they finally say, okay, we'll do it. And it's like, it's a simple fix, okay? I'm not looking to try and get rich. I just don't want to be able to, walking around in pain. So you had that situation come through. You had now the groundswell of parents not wanting their kids to play football. And of course, the NFL, they started with the Guardian helmets. Now you're beginning to see players playing with the Guardian helmets. You see them in practice. So the perception is that football is safer. But see, here's the thing with football is, and maybe you see this with baseball, is they've lost a generation of fans. The games are on late. They're not on TV in the same way, and so on. We got 3 police cars right there for 1 car pulled over. You've got, now I've lost my mind. When I see 3 police cars with lights on the side of the road, okay. have the Guardian helmets. Now you see some players, and now, we talk about the new helmets that they have and stuff, the helmets that literally, just kind of do like this whole wave action to absorb it, and they promote how they're working on concussions, and they are trying to give you the appearance of it being safer. The reality is football is never going to be that safe, because you can protect the brain, but you're going to have ACL tears, broken bones, and people risk actually dying on the field. But the NFL is so smart that the next generation is now coming through flag football, the safer alternative. You see them, they're buying into it. Whether it's Charotte Jones or some other group, you can best believe that the NFL is going to continue to promote flag football, because that's creating the next fan base. And here is how crazy it is, because when my father-in-law passed away, my niece and nephew, they came to the house, and we went to the Afton Tunnel hiking and things like that, and having a really good time there. They're young teenagers. And my niece, attractive young lady and everything else, she's got the nails and stuff, typical teenage girl. She starts telling me, she said, I made the flag football team. And first thing I was like, wait a minute, you're playing flag football? You're playing flag football. I didn't think you liked football at all, because whenever, they'd come over, football was on, she'd never watch it. She never talked about how bad the Cowboys were, it just didn't seem like there was any interest in it. But now, she's on the flag football team as a D-back. And she said, oh, Uncle Mark, I need to get me some flag football gloves. I was like, flag football gloves? What are you talking about? Flag football gloves and equipment. So I became her sponsor for it. So she picked out some gloves. The gloves are like $40. Like $40. We played flag football. We were wearing our tennis shoes and no gloves or anything. But by the time she got the gloves, the shoes, I spent like $150 for her to play flag football. And so now the NFL are creating the next generation of fans, and they're selling more merchandise, because of course, you can get the inexpensive stuff, but then, if you got the Nike gloves or Under Armour or whatever brands that they have out there, it's still revenue promoting the football and the NFL, and they're promoting it as it's safer. It's safer. Now, we won't talk anything about toxicity of the football fields, where the ground up tires and things are actually causing cancer. That's a whole nother thing. This artificial fields, I can't stand them. I hate them. Give me some grass. But be that as it may, you see where the NFL is making investment that is growing the brand, which is why you'll never see the salary cap going down. And FYI, the NFL grossed over $23 billion last year. And it wasn't that long ago that we talked about how the NFL, which was actually considered a nonprofit, was a $10 billion a year industry. It doesn't seem like it was only but a couple years ago. And now it's a $23 billion industry last year. And I can guarantee you it will generate even more next year. NFL, there's some shrewd business people out there, and they're making lots of money. See you guys in about 3 hours at our live stream when I get back to the house. Peace out.